If you're listening to this, you recently survived a massive worldwide extinction event. Congratulations. Too many didn't. Have a nice big helping of residual simmering rage, so great for the immune system, at being abandoned by our leaders, at the profiteers and incompetents and liars, at a cleverly murderous microscopic entity that wants to exploit you as a host and strip your organs for parts. Along with the grief about everything that was lost, about everyone who was lost. On another, but not entirely unrelated subject, how's your love life? No doubt living through an extended planetary contagion will be infecting our relation to other people's bodies and droplets for years or decades to come. A deadly virus alters your sense of what gets transmitted between people and what threats they pose, probably long after the pathogen itself gets beaten down. And apparently, we're not getting back to status quo existence anytime soon. Will the cultural afterlife of COVID-19 be as enduring as the long afterlife of AIDS, which reshaped consciousness about sex, love, and body fluids for decades? Well after the HIV virus itself was subdued by medical science and a generation of new antiretroviral drugs made AIDS a chronic disease instead of a fatal one? As everyone not insane is hoping the new COVID vaccines will likewise do, fiendish mutations notwithstanding. But it's not just viruses that mutate, so do we. Our emotions mutate, our relationships mutate. Maybe our ideas about love and what we need or can realistically give another person have mutated. We're different than we were before, including at a cellular level. We're cohabiting with something malevolent. For how long? Everything important is uncertain. How much that shifts the interpersonal calculus is another of the unknowns. We live our lives in profile. We're always catching up to ourselves. Violent emotions descend from nowhere, derailing you. They call it trauma. But sure, let's hope and pray that herd immunity and mass vaccinations will make life normal again, leaving just the political fractures and cultural hatreds and economic carnage to deal with. History will obviously have more to say on these subjects, though what may not make it into the official record is how seemingly non-intimate public events, a sociopathic president, the imminent threat of infrastructural collapse, seep into your actual intimacies like runoff from a backed-up sewer. Or that the imperiled condition of liberal democracy might mean that if it were ever possible to sustain a deep human connection between two individuals, a balancing act between intimacy and disgust in the best of times, feeling expendable isn't especially conducive to the enterprise. It has ripple effects. It's not as though love takes place in a bubble. To put it in social sciencey language, partnered bonding behaviors, along with solo and partnered sexual behaviors, were not unaffected, even if you didn't contract the actual disease. Factor in the residual symptoms for those who did. Factor in the economic hits, the loneliness. 2/3 of people said they felt more lonely, coupled or not. The protracted homeschooling ordeals and magnified household neurosis. Or fill in your own particulars here. Is it only me, or is there a lingering sense that other people feel, well, more encroaching than they used to, even post-vaccination? Just seeing news photos of milling unmasked strangers still gives the risk-averse agita. Do you find yourself recoiling from nearness, in public, of course, but maybe in private too? It's not just that other people's variant-laden, aerosolized respiratory particles might waft your way right as you're inhaling, but once you committed to washing your hands a dozen times a day, now you're a hand washer, right? It's an ontological state, an internal cordon sanitaire. Women turned out to be more dedicated hand washers than men, by the way. Gender is so insidious. Back when the virus hit and shutdown commenced, maybe you were coupled, maybe flying solo, maybe some covert or indecisive combination of the two. But when the music stopped, we were all face to face with our romantic choices and compromises, like it or not.